Hi. So I want to talk to you about the bigger picture. It's the reason why I actually created this Facebook group called Healers Change the World, and why I'm actually putting an effort with you together to create a movement of Healers Change the World. And so let's understand what's happening from the bigger picture standpoint. I decided to do a 6-video series to talk about different aspects of the bigger picture to kind of help clarify things for all of us here as to what is happening in our universe. In this video, I want to talk about Ascension. And some of you may have heard of it, some of you maybe haven't. So let me clarify. We are moving through a massive, massive global energetic shift, and have been doing so since about 2003. And the reason why this is happening, why we're moving through this amazing energetic shift, is because we're trying to, as human species or spiritual beings, move up in dimensions. We've been living for eons in the 3rd dimension, and we're trying to move up into the 5th dimension where the vibrations are much higher, energies are different, and it's a much nicer place to live actually, because the 3rd dimension is it's a very dense dimension, and we've been learning primarily about separation and you know, a lot of control, oppression, a lot of those kind of fear energies. We've been primarily learning from our pain really in the 3rd dimension. And so the experiences are supposed to be much, much nicer and better in the higher dimensions. And as souls, we have learned everything there is to learn in those, in the 3rd dimension. And so, like, for example, one of the energies that we, as I just mentioned, is the energy of separation. We've been experiencing in the 3rd dimension a lot and learning about a lot. And, you know, the new energy, for example, is in the higher dimensions is oneness, the idea or the concept or the notion that we are all connected. And not just a notion or concept, but we are actually all connected, and that we're actually all one. And interestingly enough, during this whole COVID-19 pandemic, what we've been experiencing is a lot of separation, right? And it's because in order to rise above those kind of energies, we have to, they're coming to the surface for us to deal with, you know, and we have to properly deal with them. And that's what I'm here wanting to talk to you about, is how to deal with them and what's actually happening there. And so, so what's been happening is that the vibrations on our planet have been steadily increasing since about 2003. And it's a gradual process because it requires a lot of adjustments for us, including our physical self. Our physical bodies have to adjust to this new vibration each time. And what at the same time has been happening is that it's having this sort of flush out effect on our, what I call, unresolved pain experiences. And those are simply experiences of pain we've had, whether emotional, mental, or physical, that were painful, and that for one reason or another we haven't fully digested or completed. And so we kind of shoved it under the carpet. It was perhaps too intense. It was too much pain for us to deal with in the moment, or we didn't want to deal with it. And so we kind of shoved it under the carpet, and it becomes this unresolved experience. The only problem with that is that we keep repeating similar experiences or reliving similar experiences because we carry this incomplete experience back here. And so that's how we develop patterns. You know, that's how we develop cycles of abuse, or, you know, whatever patterns you're living in. Sometimes we don't even recognize whatever patterns, because sometimes it overlaps from a past lifetime into this lifetime, and we forget our past lifetimes. And so we don't even recognize something as that we're repeating it from another lifetime. And it happens more often than not. And I've, you know, worked with this quite a bit, so I do know. And so anyway, so we're repeating these experiences all the time. And, you know, it's keeping us, so to speak, on the treadmill of the low vibration energies, because these low vibration energies of like fear, control, separation, oppression, you know, all that is actually stuck in these unresolved pain experiences. And as we create with them, because they're part of our vibration, and as we attract with them, you know, we are basically repeating history all the time. So say, for example, if you've lived in the Nazi lifetimes, and how many of us have, right? Probably lots of us, right? So, and we've experienced pain around, look at how many people were just gassed during the Nazi lifetimes. They died, right? And I know I had personally lifetime in the Nazi lifetimes with my mother, actually, who was my daughter at the time. And we were being actually separated from each other. And I do recall that memory and the sadness and the desperation I felt in that moment. And I've done many healings on different past lifetimes like that. So, but anyway, so here we have these unresolved experiences that we carry over, and we kind of repeat similar experiences. You know, say if we experience separation like I did with my mother, I may experience it in this lifetime in a different way as separation with my mother. You know, not through perhaps, you know, being gassed, but perhaps in a different way, right? So that's how we keep repeating things. And that's what's keeping us in those low vibrations. And so here we are wanting to rise above that into the higher dimensions. So we're going to have to do something about completing those, right? And as Dolores Cannon put it so nicely, is that we have to, absolutely have to offload our karma. And that is what karma is. It's our unresolved pain experiences, to the contrary of actually popular belief. It can be things that also were done to us, not just that we did, okay? But that karma includes all of our unresolved pain experiences. Anyway, so, you know, basically what these unresolved pain experiences do is they keep us repeating things, they keep us in the low vibrations, keep us running on the same treadmill, and they keep us in our weakness, because every time we connect with our pain, we experience fear, okay? And we're not connected in that moment with our inner power. When we're connected, we're either connected with our pain or with our inner power. We can't be connected to both. And depending on how many of these pain experiences you carry, you can be connected quite a bit of time in your into your weakness all the time, into your pain experiences, as opposed to your power, okay? So, you know, and then we keep creating with it in our vibration. We keep attracting with it in our vibration. And also, you know, it keeps us in our weakness. Oh, that's right. I wanted to also mention that it acts as clutter to our soul. So we're really not we're not living from our authentic selves, all right? Because we are not our pain experiences, okay? We are basically, you know, the result of our pain experiences, which is our wisdom. That's who we actually are. That's our authentic self. It's our soul that gains the wisdom from the pain, but we're not our pain. And so as long as we keep carrying this unresolved pain, we're living from that, from our ego part of ourselves, which contains all our pain, as opposed to our authentic part of ourselves. Because this pain stuff, you know, acts as clutter to our soul. We also can't hear ourselves quite often very well, including our own intuition, including perhaps what our soul purpose is, you know, as long as we have a lot of this accumulated unresolved pain, because pain is actually heavy in vibration. And so it keeps us in the low vibrations and not able to rise. And it's kind of like the hot air balloon, you know, if you look at how does a hot air balloon rise, it's when we throw out those sacks of sand. And imagine those sacks of sand being the unresolved pain in your space, in your vibration, and that keeps you sitting on the ground, okay? And so no matter how high the vibrations rise on the planet, your individual vibration isn't moving until you start resolving this unresolved pain. And so we are all faced with that issue of having to do that. And that's why lots of things are happening in that regards to connect us with that. And that's why there is so much drama and chaos out there right now, because it's all about us connecting with this unresolved pain we're carrying. And so basically we're living a lot of drama because it is coming to the surface in the form of drama in your everyday life. And so I call drama reenactment of our unresolved trauma, okay? And so as long as we have that unresolved trauma in our space, whether small pain, big pain, I mean, trauma doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be a small thing, it could be a rejection, you know? But as long as we have that, as long as we carry that, we're living this drama, okay? And so I'm gonna have you think about that for a minute. This is what's happening with Ascension. I wanna do the next video on the 3 waves we've experienced so far. And I believe it's gonna get worse before it gets better, because we are all facing this dilemma with this unresolved pain and it coming to the surface. And that is what a lot of the drama out there is right now. And also the last video, I'll specifically talk about what we all can do about it and how healers fit into this whole picture of it, and how it is that we as healers will actually change the world. And so stay tuned, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and namaste.